Well, you know, college, of course, is an important bridge to adulthood, and one of the biggest challenges that happens is talking about managing money. It's never too early to help your kids build skills for financial success through college and beyond. And that's a topic of this week's Enough podcast with developmental psychologist Dr. Marty Erickson. Did you know it was my ears must have, your ears must have been ringing?
I do know that you have two recent graduates, one who graduated from college and one who's going off to college. So
yeah, so we have one starting a career and then we have one heading off to college. So both of those, and you know, you were saying you never can do this too early. So if you're sitting at home and you have, you know, a 6 and 7 year old or a 10-year-old, let's talk about this, right? Because
even 4-year-olds, anybody who says, I want this, you can start talking with them about how that costs money and get them to look at prices and that sort of thing. But boy, when they're going off to college, this is when it really, really gets real. And it's so critical that we not do everything for the kids around money or anything else for that matter, but that we really let them become adults.
We have some tips. So the first one you said is get them their own credit card. So this is their own credit, their own, like not with you, their own.
That's right. And that's really important. And doing that even before they go to college so they get used to it. And you have to teach them about interest rates and why it's important to keep your credit card paid. And, you know, obviously you're going to monitor this with them and for them in the early days or months, but as they gradually become more mature and more responsible, they can really take full responsibility. And they need to really know about that.
They need to look at that bill and look at that percentage and look how long it's going to take them to pay it off if they don't pay it off that month.
And get a credit report. You know, once they have a credit card, they will have a credit report. And so really teach them all of those things that we adults deal with all the time, because they're adults and very soon going to be adults on their own.
Right. Learn together conditions of scholarships or student loans. So depending on what what it looks like for you.
Yes, and you know, this is something a lot of times the parents are taking responsibility for the loans and so on, but the kids are going to have to in the long run. And so really getting them started in understanding this and conditions for scholarships, you know, their grades, their performance, they're avoiding getting caught with drinking or smoking weed or, you know, whatever. And there are a lot of things that can really derail kids who are very bright and very good kids, but they run amok and lose their scholarship.
If they pay some of the money too, they have, it seems like, more skin in the game.
Exactly.
It's just important for that too. Establish a valued-based budget and monitoring schedule.
Yeah, and you know, this is something that really should go back early in childhood, but let's assume a lot of parents out there sending kids off to college haven't done that. But it's really talking about your values, your family values, and we always kind of love to emphasize that concept of share, save, spend. And that's an organization actually that was founded by the guest we had on our podcast this week talking about these issues.
Wow,
but really
that's cool.
think about, you know, what is important for you to spend on, because we all tend to spend on a lot of stuff that if we stop and think about it, it really doesn't have that much value for us.
And it adds up really quickly.
It does.
All the little things add up really quickly.
Yep.
And encourage creativity about cost saving and earning opportunities. So you said thrift store shopping, bulk buying with friends, tutoring younger students, a lot of great ideas there.
Yeah, and I think, you know, many kids don't even think about that, you know, maybe getting a part-time job. I remember doing tutoring when I was in grad school, and that really helped me in my regular expenses. I had a fellowship for grad school, but even at that age, having some extra work really made a difference, because I was young and single and, you know, doing everything on my own and didn't come from a family where they paid for my schooling. So, you know, it was just a really important thing. And my grandkids have all done those things in various ways, and they've really benefited from it, and they felt very good about themselves in doing it.
And I've noticed a lot of young girls now are actually setting up things with other girls, and they're selling their clothes to all their friends, which is so smart, because the clothes are, you know, are so expensive, the ones that, you know, you want to keep. And that is a great way to make a little bit of money, get rid of some clothes. You know, they're doing that. There's also, you know, some girls need so many different clothes. There's rental that they can do? Like a Newly is a thing where you can rent clothes and
Yeah.
then you're not buying them all and you return them. I mean, those are things too
Yeah.
to think about.
My granddaughter, who was just a senior in college, she came home recently and had on this darling skirt, and I said, "Oh, where did you get that?" And she said, well, "I got it for $2 at a thrift store."
See,
and
that's
it looked
great, too.
really cool. And she's about to turn 21, and
Well, that's really popular
fun
with those
too.
kids too.
Yeah.
Not to have so many clothes and all that.
Yeah.
Well, I love this. So your guest is the person that came up
Yeah.
with Share, Spend, Save.
Yes, I mean, somebody might have said it before, but he has the business. He
Wow.
has the trademark on that. And Nathan Dungan is his name. We adore him, and he's been on our show so many times. And people can go to listen to this week's podcast about college kids, but we also are posting some of his earlier things, which are about earlier childhood and, all sorts of things about money and kind
Fabulous.
of countering materialism, which is so huge in our society.
Very much so. All right, Mom Enough podcast right now. It's there. You can
It
check
is.
it out. And we have all the details on care11.com.